Have you ever felt stuck, paralyzed by fear, unable to move forward in life? Well, you're not alone. Today, we're going to explore a simple yet powerful Zen story that holds the key to unlocking your courage and conquering your fears. So buckle up and get ready to transform your life. Picture this. A young student approaches a wise Zen master, seeking guidance on how to overcome his crippling fear. The master, with a twinkle in his eye, shares a story that's about to change everything. Are you ready to hear it? Let's dive in. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a man who was terrified of his own shadow. He was so afraid that he refused to leave his house during the day, convinced that his shadow was out to get him. One day, driven by hunger, he ventured outside. To his horror, he saw his shadow following him everywhere he went. Panicked, he started to run, but no matter how fast he ran, his shadow kept pace. Exhausted and frightened, he ran faster and faster, until finally he collapsed from exhaustion and died. The poor man never realized that if he had simply stepped into the shade, his shadow would have disappeared. Now you might be wondering, what does this story have to do with me? Well, let me tell you, everything. This simple tale holds a profound lesson about fear and courage that can revolutionize your life. You see, just like the man in the story, we often run from our fears, thinking they're chasing us. But in reality, we're the ones giving power to our fears by constantly focusing on them. The more we run, the bigger and scarier our fears seem to become. But here's the secret. The solution isn't to run faster or fight harder. It's to change our perspective. Just as stepping into the shade would have made the shadow disappear, shifting our focus can make our fears lose their power over us. So, how can we apply this wisdom to our lives? Let's break it down into 3 simple steps. First, acknowledge your fears. Don't try to ignore them or push them away. Instead, face them head-on. Name them. Write them down. By doing this, you're already taking away some of their power. Second, question your fears. Ask yourself, is this fear really as big and scary as I think it is? What's the worst that could happen? And if that happened, could I handle it? Often, when we shine the light of reason on our fears, we realize they're not as terrifying as we thought. Third, and most importantly, shift your focus. Instead of dwelling on what you're afraid of, concentrate on what you want to achieve. What are your goals? What kind of person do you want to become? By stepping into the shade of your aspirations, you'll find that the shadow of your fears starts to fade away. Let me share a personal story to illustrate this. A few years ago, I was terrified of public speaking. The thought of standing in front of an audience made my palms sweat and my heart race. I tried everything to overcome this fear. Breathing exercises, visualization techniques, you name it. But nothing seemed to work. Then I stumbled upon this Zen story, and it changed everything. Instead of focusing on my fear of public speaking, I started to concentrate on my message, what I wanted to share with the world. I thought about how my words could inspire and help others. Suddenly, my fear didn't seem so important anymore. It was still there, but it no longer controlled me. The next time I had to give a speech, I felt nervous, sure, but I was also excited. I stepped onto that stage not thinking about my fear, but about the positive impact I could make. And you know what? It was one of the best speeches I've ever given. This is the power of embracing courage and overcoming fear. It's not about becoming fearless. It's about not letting fear stop you from living your best life. Remember, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the ability to act despite fear. And every time you choose courage over fear, you grow stronger. You expand your comfort zone. You become more of who you're meant to be. So the next time you feel afraid, remember the man and his shadow. Focus on what you want to achieve, not what you're afraid of. And watch as your courage grows and your fears shrink. You have the power within you to overcome any fear, to embrace courage, and to live the life you've always dreamed of. It all starts with a simple shift in perspective. Are you ready to embrace courage and overcome your fears? Remember, every journey begins with a single step, and you've already taken that step by watching this video. If you found this story inspiring and want more wisdom to transform your life, don't forget to subscribe to Journey to Serenity. Together, we'll explore the depths of human potential